Minnesota Governor and our next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz, sat down for his first official interview since becoming the Democratic nominee for Vice President, and he did so by going into the lion's den. Yes, he did this interview on the Fox propaganda outlet, and I am so glad that he did, because even before Tim Walz was the vice presidential nominee, he was well known, much like P. Page, for being incredible when taking down talking points from the Fox propaganda outlet. He had one interview that he did so well on that Donald Trump told Fox on Truth Social to stop bringing the enemy on because he is so great at what he does. He was incredible this morning, shutting down and shutting up the MAGA lies from the Fox host, and really just flipping the script on her in an interview that he absolutely crushed. I couldn't be more excited to get into it, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting the community that we are building on this channel. Now, let's get into this interview with this clip right here.
In the vice president's position as well. I want to talk about abortion, too, because this came up at the debate. It's been a winning argument for Democrats on many ballots, but I want to clarify what the law is there in Minnesota. Abortion Finder, a website that helps women find access, says abortion is legal throughout pregnancy in Minnesota. There is no ban or limit on abortion in Minnesota based on how far along in a pregnancy you are. You signed the bill that makes it legal through all 9 months. Is that a position you think Democrats should advocate for nationally?
Look, the vice president and I have been clear. The restoration of Roe versus Wade is what we're asking for.
But that law goes far beyond Roe v. Wade.
To make her own choice. The law is very clear. It does not change that. That was been debunked on every occasion.
But wait, let's agree. What you signed is there's not a single limit through 9 months of pregnancy. Roe had a trimester framework that did have limits through the pregnancy. The Minnesota law does not have that.
This puts the decision with the woman and her health care providers. The situation we have is when you don't have the ability of health care providers to provide that, that's where you end up with a situation like Amanda Zaworski in Texas, where they are
So, clearly just a bunch of gotcha questions there from the MAGA Fox host, which we will see more of in this next clip we're going to check out. But what we will also see more of is perfect responses from Tim Walz, like that one that we just saw, flipping the script on the MAGA Fox host, not only talking about the success of the policy in Minnesota, but also addressing the ways that the fear-mongering that Republicans tend to do around abortion. Like we see Donald Trump pushing these false claims about post-birth abortions. But what is true is that Donald Trump's abortion bans have cost lives. We know that to be true because when doctors are called in to give women the medical assistance that they need, assistance they could get in other states without these disgusting abortion bans, they are afraid to do their jobs because of Donald Trump, because of MAGA, and because of their disgraceful abortion plans. That's the truth. Post-birth abortions are not. So a perfect job from Tim Walz shutting up the MAGA host, shutting down those lies. And that's exactly what he did when more gotcha questions were thrown at him. He wasn't shaken. He wasn't bothered.
Events. A lot of people would say they couldn't get away with saying, I'm just too passionate, my grammar's not right, I'm a knucklehead. What do you say to the American people who think, I don't know that I can trust this guy with all those modifications to be the potential commander-in-chief of this country?
Yeah, well, I think they heard me. They heard me the other night speaking passionately about gun violence and misspeaking. And I got to be honest with you, Shannon, I don't think people care.
And so these gotcha questions are just so sad to see, of course expected from the Fox propaganda network. But it was so perfect of Tim Walz in answering these tough questions, because again, they were tough questions. To bring up the fact that J.D. Vance couldn't have answered maybe one of the easiest questions he could have been asked, who won the 2020 election, shows that he is just completely unfit to do the job of vice president. Not that we needed any more information to come to that conclusion, but if we did need any more information about Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, I think it's always great to provide a little bit of context, and I think this clip shows exactly why they're so unfit.
I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion into our country. We will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of the United States. Dwight Eisenhower right now has that record.
While Tim Walz and Kamala Harris are running a campaign of choice, a campaign to end the fear-mongering and division caused by Donald Trump and the divisive abortion bans implemented by MAGA, what is he doing? He's screaming about Hannibal Lecter and windmills and the largest deportation effort in history, in which, 1, he doesn't have a plan for, and 2, would not only be completely immoral but devastating to our economy. But I guess devastating our economy, destroying our economy, is what Donald Trump is best at. He did it in his first term. I guess he wants to do it again if he won a second. But we cannot allow that to happen, and that's why we have to continue to call out the lies of Donald Trump, continue to call out the lies of J.D. Vance, and, of course, continue to call out the lies of the Fox propaganda network, much like Tim Walz. We're going to continue to do that on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.